We all know the world is changing. We need new ideas for fuel. One idea is using water to power our cars. It sounds strange, right? But there's some science behind it. The idea isn't about pouring water directly into your petrol tank. That wouldn't work. It's about using water as the source of a different kind of fuel, hydrogen. Hydrogen can power cars in a much cleaner way than petrol or diesel. This technology could be revolutionary. Imagine a world where cars only emit water vapor. It would be a huge step towards a greener planet, but as with all new technology, there are challenges to overcome. We need to find efficient ways to produce hydrogen from water. We also need to develop safe and practical ways to store and transport it. It's a big task, but the potential rewards are huge. So how do we get hydrogen from water? The answer lies in a process called electrolysis. It sounds complicated, but it's actually quite simple. Imagine you have a container of water. You put two electrodes in the water and connect them to a power source, like a battery. When you turn on the power, something amazing happens. The electricity splits the water molecules apart. This separates the hydrogen atoms from the oxygen atoms. The hydrogen gas bubbles up on one electrode and the oxygen gas bubbles up on the other. This hydrogen gas is what we want. It's a clean fuel that can power our cars, but there's a catch. Electrolysis requires energy. We need to make sure that the energy we use to produce the hydrogen is clean too. Now that we have our hydrogen, how do we use it to power a car? There are two main ways: internal combustion engines and fuel cells. Internal combustion engines are the type of engines we have in most cars today. They burn fuel to create energy. We can modify these engines to burn hydrogen instead of petrol. Fuel cells are different. They don't burn the hydrogen. Instead, they use a chemical reaction to convert hydrogen and oxygen into electricity. This electricity then powers an electric motor that drives the car. Both methods have their pros and cons. Internal combustion engines are a more familiar technology, but they still produce some emissions. Fuel cells are cleaner, but they are more complex and expensive. Water-powered cars sound great in theory, but there are still some big challenges to overcome. One of the biggest is energy efficiency. Electrolysis requires a lot of energy, and we need to make sure it's clean energy. Another challenge is storing and transporting hydrogen. Hydrogen is a gas, and it takes up a lot of space. We need to find safe and efficient ways to compress it or liquefy it so we can store it in cars. Finally, we need to build a hydrogen infrastructure. This means building hydrogen production plants and refueling stations. This is a big investment, but it's essential if we want to make hydrogen cars a reality. Despite these challenges, the future of water-powered cars is looking bright. Companies like Toyota and Hyundai already have hydrogen cars on the market. As technology improves and costs come down, we can expect to see more and more water-powered cars on the roads in the future.